All right, so are you ready to really kind of dig into this? I mean, we are going deep on football in Morocco today, and I mean deep.
I like it deep.
We're going way beyond the scores and the stats. You know, you sent over some really fascinating research, and it really struck me that this sport is basically like woven into the fabric of Morocco as a nation.
It's true.
Yeah.
We always hear about how sports can bring people together, but I think in Morocco football, it's more than just a pastime.
Right.
It acts as this social glue, a cultural touchstone, and even plays a role in their political identity.
Yeah, and that's what I found so fascinating as I was kind of going through all these sources is,
Hmm.
I knew Moroccans loved their football,
Right.
but I had no idea how deep it ran. And, it's like, think about Morocco's diversity.
Yeah.
They have so many languages and cultures and backgrounds,
Right.
but football just seems to bridge all those divides.
Absolutely. And I think it really does transcend those differences. And you
Yeah.
can see it if you just picture yourself in a bustling cafe in Casablanca.
Okay.
You have folks from all walks of life there. Berber, Arab, you name it, and everyone's just glued to the screen cheering for the Atlas Lions, their national team.
Yeah.
And then you can transport yourself to a remote village in the high Atlas Mountains, and that same energy, that same shared passion,
Yeah.
it connects them all.
Okay, that visual really drives it home.
Good.
But it's not just cafes and villages, right?
Right.
The source material also talks about how football is tied to Morocco's political identity, too.
Mm.
For example, it mentions how, since their independence victories on the pitch have taken on this symbolic meaning
Yeah.
that goes beyond just the athletic achievement.
Absolutely.
It's like a reflection of national pride.
Exactly. Those wins become metaphors for the nation's resilience, their journey, their aspirations.
Mm-hmm.
And think about it, their participation in the World Cup
Yeah,
and the African Cup of Nations.
right.
It's not just about playing the game. It's a chance to showcase their identity on a global stage.
Speaking of the World Cup, one of the sources highlighted their incredible run in 2022, becoming the first African and Arab nation to reach the semifinals.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember watching those matches,
Uh-huh.
and even I was getting swept up in the excitement. I can
Right.
only imagine what that must have been like for Moroccans at home and abroad.
It was a watershed moment, no doubt about it. It unified Moroccans across the globe and, really created this incredible sense of national pride. And it significantly boosted their image on the world stage.
Right.
I mean, suddenly everyone was talking about Morocco and their incredible football team.
Yeah, and that success didn't happen overnight, right?
No.
I was reading about how they're investing in new stadiums, youth academies, and their whole football infrastructure.
Yeah.
I mean, they're clearly not messing around. They're aiming to become a major player in world football.
Oh, absolutely. They're very strategic about this. The Royal Moroccan Football Federation has really stepped up their game.
Yeah.
They're not just playing, they're investing. They're developing talent, and they're raising their standing in the global football arena.
Right.
And clearly it's paying off.
One thing that really struck me was how football acts as this powerful connection for the Moroccan diaspora. I mean, if you're a Moroccan living in, say, Europe or North America,
Yeah.
watching the Atlas Lions play, it must feel like this tangible link to your homeland.
Absolutely. Imagine that experience.
Yeah.
You're thousands of miles away from home.
Right.
But when you watch the Atlas Lions play, you're sharing in this collective joy and this sense of national pride, and it deepens that feeling of belonging. Those matches become more than just games.
Mhm.
They become cultural events bringing communities together and showcasing Moroccan culture to the world.
So it's more than just supporting a team.
Yeah,
It's about connecting with a shared heritage,
it is.
a shared identity that's incredibly powerful.
Absolutely. And I think it speaks to the wider impact football has in shaping national identity, both domestically and internationally.
Yeah.
You see it time and time again. Sport transcends borders
Right.
and creates a sense of community.
Mhm.
It really makes you wonder what other countries out there have this kind of deep connection between a particular sport and their national identity.
Oh, I'm sure there are tons of examples out there. It's like you said earlier, sport can be this powerful unifier.
Yes,
But in Morocco's case, it seems like football goes even deeper.
it does.
I mean, we've talked about how it unites people, how it's intertwined with their political identity,
Mhm.
and how it connects them globally.
Yeah,
But there's more to unpack, right?
it is. We've only scratched the surface.
Yeah.
We need to consider how football reflects the complexities of modern Morocco. It's not just about those victories and national pride. It also touches on their economic development, social dynamics, and their place in a constantly changing world.
So how does football act as that mirror reflecting modern Morocco?
Well, for one, it showcases their ambition and drive to succeed on a global stage.
Yeah.
The investments they're making in the sport, the development of young talent, it all points to a nation that's striving for excellence.
Right.
And wants to be recognized for it, not just in the region, but worldwide.
Yeah, that definitely comes across in everything I've read so far.
Right.
But I'm guessing it's not always a straightforward, celebratory picture. No nation is without its challenges.
You're absolutely right. And that's where it gets even more interesting, because while football does promote this image of unity,
Yeah.
it also reflects some of the social and economic challenges that Morocco faces.
Okay.
For example, there are disparities in access to resources and opportunities within the country. And football can, at times, highlight those inequalities.
So while it's this powerful symbol of national unity, it also kind of exposes some of the internal tensions and issues that Morocco is grappling with.
Precisely. It's a multifaceted picture. And that complexity is also reflected in how football is consumed and experienced by different segments of Moroccan society.
Okay.
For instance, the role of women in football is evolving.
Yeah.
While it's traditionally been a male-dominated sport,
Right.
we're seeing more women participating as players, coaches, and fans.
That's really interesting. One of the sources touched on how football is evolving in Morocco, and it talked about how the sport is being used to promote social change and development.
Yeah.
I wonder if those two things are connected.
They are. There are some amazing initiatives using football as a platform to empower women, address issues like poverty and youth unemployment, and promote social inclusion.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah.
So it's becoming this tool for positive change that extends far beyond the pitch.
Exactly.
Oh.
They're harnessing the power of football to tackle some of the country's most pressing social issues. And that's where its real potential lies.
Right.
In its ability to inspire, mobilize, and create a sense of shared purpose.
It's really amazing how much we can learn about a nation by looking at it through the lens of a sport.
Yeah.
It's clear now that football in Morocco is about so much more than just winning or losing.
Right.
It's about national identity, social dynamics, global aspirations, even internal challenges.
Yeah.
It really paints this vivid picture of what's going on in the country as a whole.
You put it perfectly. It's a microcosm of their society. And by understanding their passion for football, we gain a deeper appreciation for the complexities and nuances of Morocco as a nation.
I'm with you there. This whole deep dive has really opened my eyes to that powerful connection between sport and national identity, and it makes me think about what other unique insights we might gain by exploring how different cultures express themselves through their love of sports. It feels like a whole new way of understanding the world.
It's a fascinating area of study for sure. Sports can act as this lens through which we can understand a culture's values, history, and aspirations. And who knows, it might even reveal some unexpected connections and shared experiences across different parts of the world.
Yeah, it really highlights how sports can transcend borders and connect people in ways we might not always realize. It's like a universal language in a lot of ways.
Absolutely. And I think it also shows how important it is to look beyond the surface, to really understand the cultural significance of sports in different parts of the world.
Right.
It can be so much more than just entertainment.
I have to say, this whole deep dive into football in Morocco has been incredibly eye-opening. I feel like I have a much deeper understanding of their culture, their values, and aspirations now.
I'm glad to hear that it's been a really fascinating exploration, hasn't it?
It has, and for you listening out there, I hope this deep dive has sparked your curiosity too. Maybe it's inspired you to learn more about the role of sports in other cultures, or even just to reflect on how your own favorite sport connects to your own identity and sense of belonging.
It's definitely food for thought.
Yeah.
After all, sports have this unique power to bring people together, spark conversations, and teach us about ourselves and the world around us.
Well said. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive. Until next time, keep exploring.